I remember I would sit in the therapist's office and she would say, "You have the drug history of a 40-year-old woman." And I'm sitting there 18 years old thinking, I don't have a problem because I'm not legal to drink. When I was 15, I tried smoking weed, and right before my parents pulled me out of public school, I tried experimenting with other drugs. I tried cocaine for the first time and started smoking cigarettes and drinking, and it wasn't until I met a boy, and he was much older than me. I was 15, he was 23, and I had tried heroin, and I didn't know what to expect, what to do, and I began intravenously using heroin. I went home one night, and I remember my dad telling me how much he loved me and how much I meant to them, and it wasn't until I sat back and realized that I was destroying my life, but my parents were also watching their little girl kill herself. And I went to bed, and my mom came in my room at 3 a.m, and my dad came in behind her, and they both said they love me dearly, and behind them there was a large guy and a woman, and they said, we're here to help you, just come get your things. And from there I went to a wilderness program in Oregon. I spent 13 weeks in the wilderness, just no electronics, no nothing, and hiking everywhere with girls who had that same problem as I did and struggled, and we all shared our stories. And it really did help me. And I got a letter there from my parents, and they said, we love you and this, but they also had found a school for me in Utah. It was equine therapy. We each got our own horse, and it just worked with, depression, anxiety, and there was a psychiatrist there and everything. And it was great. I went there for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and I met great girls, had a great counselor, and my relationship was slowly being restored with my parents. And for the first 6 months, couple months, I was doing really good, and I, got on the right track, back in school, found a new school, and that helped with my problems. I was back on medication, doing great, wasn't smoking cigarettes, and I was sober. And I ran into the same boy that I had met, and he asked me, you want to go out tonight and do something? And I, again, fell back into my old patterns and didn't really know what to do, and this was about the age of 18. Didn't know what to do. I intravenously every day began using heroin. If I didn't have it, I made sure to get it, and without it, I was sick. My parents didn't know. They knew that I was struggling again. And even though I was hurting people and losing my family, the only person I was disregarding and not even realize I was hurting was myself. Exotic dancing is the career I chose when I hit about the age of 18 and a half. And by the age of 19, my cutting had gotten out of control. It became just a whole different world. It went to going to bed in my own bed at night, eating with my family, to getting off of work at 5 or 6 in the morning and going to sleep and having to wake up with, I always had to have a needle by my bed or a bottle cap or a lighter or a pack of cigarettes or anything that would change my mood. And if I didn't, I'd be terrified. From when you're little, you have to go to sleep with a stuffed animal. It changes when you're older and you're an addict, so you have to go to sleep with a lighter in your hand. And I didn't know where to turn, who to go to, except for a razor blade. I was so hurt, I needed to find a way out, and it left me with scars all the way up my arm, and I was ashamed, I was embarrassed, and I was scared. It kind of became a reality, seeing how it deteriorated my body, how much I weighed, was losing my hair, I had scars up my left arm, and I never really wanted to be sober. I didn't want to feel sober. I didn't want to look around and face reality. I'd rather live in an imaginary world in my head and just feel like everything would be fine. But at about 19 years old, I found out I was pregnant for the second time. And this was with a boyfriend who is now in prison, and I was scared, I was nervous, I didn't know what to do. And so I went home, my mom again asked me, we'll make an appointment. It's okay, we'll go, let's go. So I ended up getting my second abortion at the age of 19, and it became normal. Shut off all feelings towards it. My parents never knew I danced and I did that kind of stuff. You know, they always knew I lived at friends' houses and tried to manage off of what I had, but I always feared telling my parents the truth or why I was scared what I was doing, because I didn't want them to see me as what I was becoming, what I thought I was turning myself into. I think my lowest point when I knew I needed help was when I got my last abortion, and I'm 19 years old and I'm hooked on heroin, and I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what to do. So I went home and I tried to overdose again and wound up in the hospital, which is scary because it's different from saying I want to kill myself, so I'm going to try, and then waking up in a hospital bed facing reality, the fact that you tried to do it and didn't succeed. I was just terrified of reality. I didn't want to face what was actually happening and my emotions behind it. I never thought that searching out to find help and to find a drug facility would lead me to a Christian life. The first time I ever picked up a Bible, I didn't know what a psalm, a proverb, or anything was. And I realized that throughout all of my experiences, all of my overdoses, all of what I was going through, that the only thing I had to do was pick up the Bible and open to Psalm 139 and realize that God knows your heart, and he knows the desires of your heart. He knows when you go to sleep, and he just knows you. It just totally changed when I met all these women who have amazing stories and come out of them and live through them and just can share it and give me inspiration. And just knowing that I have a 24-hour person to talk to, and he never sleeps, never stops watching you, and it's a blessing. Just to realize that he never forsakes me and he never forgot about me. He showed me things and put people in my life to help me learn that I'm never gonna be who I used to be. You know, I honor where I came from. I don't regret anything I've done. And I'm living where I am now. I live in my present, and I'm creating my future day by day. And to this day, I'm 3 months sober on the 30th. July 30th was my sobriety date, and most importantly, he's giving me a life that I never thought I'd have back. It feels good to be sober and a Christian and realize that I couldn't have done any of this if God wasn't here helping me. My name is Lizzy, and I'm Unhooked.